Who all remembers 2020? Obviously. How can we ever forget 2020? Besides the obvious of 2020, there is one other thing from 2020 that in my free time became available from Lego. And as a new Lego fan and trying to support my family, I was never able to get it. But today we have got it, and we're going to build it in today's video, and that is the Nintendo Entertainment System. So let's get into it. Hello and welcome to Bricks and Toys. My name is Brandon, and now it is time to do our 9th and 10th day of our Lego Advent Christmas. So to get things started, we have Harry Potter. Let's go ahead, let's find that 9th day and see what we have. So for our 9th day with Harry Potter, we actually got a buildable Hermione Granger minifigure, the one that's with her in her winter clothes that matches Ron and Harry. She is dual face. She has a kind of a smirky face and an angry face, and she has a really cool hairpiece that has a little red beanie included. So awesome. Now let's go and do our Marvel. So for our 9th day of Marvel Christmas, we do have a Captain America minifigure, front and back torso printing, no leg printing, and dual head printing, where he's got kind of a aggressive face with a little normal smirky face. And then we also have his little hairpiece, tying them all in. So far 2 new minifigures. Now on to the 2022 Star Wars. And for our 9th day of our 2022 Star Wars, we have C-3PO, leg printing, front and back torso printing. Obviously no dual head printing because he's molded head. But he does have a R2-D2 Christmas sweater on, which is hella cute, everybody. This is a sweet minifigure. So far we've had 3 minifigures for our 9th day of Christmas. Score! So now let's go do our 2023, and we have something buildable. So for our 9th day of 2023 Star Wars Christmas, we have some type of droid-looking buildable figure thingamajig. Not sure about this one. And so now let's go and do our 10th day of Christmas, starting back off with Harry Potter, finding our 10th day, which is the first cubby. I still can't believe we got 3 out of 4 to have minifigures. But it looks like our luck has ran out, because now we have another buildable. So for our 10th day of Harry Potter, we have a little teeny snow-covered buildable tree. That's okay. I really feel like these advent calendars should just be 24 incredible minifigures that you get to collect in your holiday season. That would be an advent calendar really worth doing, because that's what I'm mostly interested in. Going on to Marvel. So for Marvel, we have some type of jetpack for a minifigure. So might be useful, kind of like the gold webbing that we had earlier. Now our 2022 Star Wars. Something buildable again. And for our 10th day of 2022 Star Wars, looks like we have some type of moisture collector that we would commonly see on Tatooine. At least that's what it looks like. And now it's on the floor. So now let's go and let's do our final, and that is 2023. And it's another buildable. For our 2023 Star Wars, looks like we have some sort of type of droid type robotic thing. Probably the one from the Clone Wars era, not exactly sure, but that is our advent calendars. Now let's get into today's build, the Nintendo Entertainment System. Today's build, as you guys can tell from the intro, is the Nintendo Entertainment System. This is one of the first Lego releases that I ever noticed, that I ever cared about, and this was before the YouTube channel. I was just doing some little bits of sets that I got for free on my auction palettes. If you guys don't already know, during the pandemic and all of that, I was getting Lego sets through auction, and I was fixing them and I was putting them together, and that's how I got started in Lego. And in 2020, I was at a Barnes & Noble, and for the first time I noticed Lego. And the set that I noticed was the newly released Nintendo Entertainment System. This was one that I really thought in the back of my mind, maybe I should buy that. But unfortunately, with the pandemic and the uncertainty of the world at that time, I decided it was better to save my government checks and my government money that we all were getting at that time for better things. And I'm glad I did, because taking care of your wife and your kids is your priority, not seeing a large sum of money in your checking account and buying stupid Lego sets. At least at that time, that's how I felt. But time makes everything better, and now I'm in a position, unfortunately, due to COVID, that I can afford these Lego sets and bring these reviews to you guys and have this channel. So to end out one of our first years as a channel, I really wanted to bring one of the first new releases I ever realized from Lego onto the channel and build it with you all. Earlier in the summer, we did the Pac-Man arcade and we did the Atari. Those builds were incredible. They were lots of fun. But as I was building those builds, those were the things that I was thinking about in the background of my mind. Is the set that came out during the pandemic, the Nintendo Entertainment System, how I wish I would have bought it. But I still should now that I have the opportunity. And so when it came down time to start looking at Lego sets we have not bought yet to get us through the rest of the year, this one was one of the ones at the top of my list because I know it's going to go bye-bye soon. And before it does, it's very important that we get it and we get it featured. So this is the first of the 4 Nintendo 18 and older buildable sets. This is the first. Right here behind me, we have the 4th, the latest, the Piranha Plant. And honestly, this is the one that I feel is where it's at. After this, we've had the Question Block, then we had Bowser last year, and then obviously that. So that is kind of the grand scheme of things with the Nintendo. It's mostly the play sets, not the 18 and older. But I figured since we bought this, we would get the Question Block. Eventually we'll get Bowser, and we obviously already have that. So let's start unboxing our set. Let's see what we have. Before we do our slice and dice, let's just take a quick look. This is set number 71374, 2,646 pieces. As well as back in the day when I first saw this set released, I was like, that is way too many pieces for me. Because at that time, 1,000 pieces were like, psh. Yeah, how we have grown, everybody. On the back, we actually have dimensions for all of the things that come in this kit. The actual Nintendo Entertainment System looks like to be about 8.1 inches wide, 2.8 inches tall. The controller is almost 5 inches wide and 2 inches thick. And then we actually have the TV, which is about 9.4 inches wide and about 8.9 inches tall. So this set's going to take up a little bit of real estate on the studio shelves. So 1, 2, and 3 gets the job done. And we are on our way to doing one of the most desired sets that I've ever had to do, or wished to do. And then looks like we already got a little wire. This is probably going to be for the remote like they did on the Atari. And that's the cool thing is already starting with the Atari first, I kind of know what we're in for as when it comes to building a console type set. Oh, looks like we are going to have 2 boxes. So that makes that pour a little short. I already see a bag 19 on the counter. 2,600 pieces, I'm going to say is probably about 24 bags total. And in this box, we're going to get the rest of them with our instructions. And here we are. So I'm just going to leave those to chill, and we're going to get into these instructions. So we have 2 books to do the build. And we have a sticker sheet, which, you know, I would expect. I would kind of hope so. And here we're going to make the famous Super Mario Brothers label, along with a low-tech color receiver sticker, probably for the back of the TV. That's pretty trick. I can't wait to get that done. And then we have our 2 books. We are in the time frame of get your QR code, which is pretty dope. And let's just start off with the first book, which is going to be the console, the game cartridge, and the controller. course, we have the stuff about it that is to be expected. And it's just going to go straight into the build without any remorse or anything. So it's just going to be straight up. And then we're going to go into our next book, which is going to be the TV. And it's going to go straight into that. And the TV is going to start at bag 9. So it's going to be 8 bags to build the console and the cartridge with the controller. So going through the book, we do have a total of 21 building bags in this set. So with that one, everybody, we're going to go and do a time lapse, and we'll be back here for the review. I'm so excited to finally get to build this set and share it all with you guys. Okay, let's get into this build, everybody. We are, of course, starting off with the actual console in itself. We're just doing some basic brick build internals here, getting ready to build that cartridge mechanism inside of the machine, and seeing how all of that works. Now we're kind of building some of the outside slopes and just a lot of layering bricks on this step. As you guys can see, I'm putting in the input jacks, and now I'm starting to build onto the side of the machine. Now I'm building the vents on top. This was a really cool building technique. And there I'm building the side little Easter egg there, whatever you want to call it, from Super Mario. Now I'm continuing to build the upper portion of the machine. Here it kind of caught me by surprise because it was clearly made to have a cover that can be removed to where you can work that cartridge visibly, which is really cool. Now we are done with the console, and now we're doing the controller. The controller was just a solid chunk of brick to be built. And now we are working on our TV. The time lapse moved so fast you didn't even notice that I built the game console or the game cartridge. So that was very interesting. As you guys can see, we're just building the outlines of the TV, and there in the middle you can see the beginning structures going in of what will be our rotating display. Just continuing on with the framework of that TV, and here we are. We're just about to go into that rotating display by building the Technic pieces, and now here we are building the track and building the studs to go onto the track. And there we are putting all of the thousands of tiny pieces, making that wonderful display. Time lapse makes it look so easy, everybody, and that just about completes our TV. Okay, everybody, so now it's time for our review on the Nintendo Entertainment System. This has been the first build in a little while that I have actually just barreled through all 21 bags, 2,600 pieces in just one day. Usually I get a little tired of building some builds and I just let it go on for 2 or 3 days, but I'm perfectly capable of building 3,000 pieces in a day. It's kind of like my new benchmark. I prefer not to because of like headaches and stuff, but this one, under 8 hours, 1 day, good to go. So this one is the one that has the TV, the console, the controller, and the game. And this is basically the grandfather of them all, where the Pac-Man is like the baby of them. It is the newest, where this one is the oldest, and we have the Atari right in the middle. And I really feel like this console right here, even though it was the first one, really brings in it's like the best of the Atari and the Pac-Man all into one. And what I mean when I say that is even though we don't have a 1-to-1 scale replica of the console like with the Atari, we have a really nice detailed console. And then, like with the Pac-Man, we have where the game can be played on basically using Technic components and on a screen. So we have the best of both worlds with the first gaming type set that they ever made, which is really cool. So let's just start with the console, then we'll get to the TV. Both of these things are super cool. And with the console, obviously the first thing is going to be the game. Super Mario Bros. It's like, besides this and Duck Hunt, did we really ever play anything else? Like, this is where it's at. This is what I remember. When I grew up, I didn't grow up with very much money, and we got these back then when they were basically free and they were just trash. Everybody had the PlayStation and stuff at that time. Not PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1. I'm that old. N64s, you guys get the point. So we got these all the time, and this was always the game. We always got 2 controllers, a console, this game. Sometimes it came with Duck Hunt, and we got the little laser gun. It was super fun. What's funny about it is growing up like that, we also got TVs for free. And what did the TVs look like? Well, like that. So that's really cool to know. So unlike with the Atari, this is not fully up to scale. Obviously, we know that these cartridges were never this thin or this small. There is, you know, the negative studs or whatever you guys want to call it on the back. It's clearly meant to look good from the front, and that's exactly what it does. It does give you that slight memory, and then it does have that green inside to resemble the chipboard. Who remembers the cotton swabs with the alcohol or the blowing? The good old days. And what's really cool about this console is you can easily put in the cartridge and lock it in. And this mechanism that does this is actually super simple, and it's just so unique. So that is that part of it. And another good party trick with this is we do have printed elements all over the front, but you can actually reach back here and easily pull off that cover. It's clearly only held on by 4 studs here, 4 studs here in the back. You guys can see how that whole mechanism works. Now, it only works on a level surface. It kind of works on like a slider. So holding it like this to show you guys really doesn't work, but you guys can see that. And then the cover goes on really easy. Now for mine, I kind of got to put mine in going down on the side first. There I can lock it in, which is really cool. So that is the game cartridge function, which is obviously the pistol resonance, the awesome part of it all. But then on the side of the console, we have this little Easter egg hidden inside. And that is, to me, it looks like the night mode of the Super Mario game. Like when we get to level 2 and everything's this weird turquoise color, you got to go through all the rigmarole. When I was building this, I was like, what the hell are we building? Because I really didn't research this set. I never thought I would ever be able to get it. When I got to this point, and then I saw these jumpers, I was like, wait, this is the game right there. So that is super cool. And that's just hidden. So kind of like with the Atari, it does have a hidden display within the console. Now, like I said, this is, I think the original Nintendo was 8 inches deep, 10 inches wide. This is dumbed down by a few inches and about 3.5 inches tall. So this is clearly not like that. But we do have the audio and video hookups on the side. And then we also have the AF jack, the channel jack, and then we have the power jack right there in the back, which is really cool. Obviously, they're not the real things. They're just Lego-looking components. And then the back is like all those negative studs like you would see on the bottom. But all printed elements besides the game cartridge itself that I have over here. Then the controller is the next thing to really note. Oh, and I also wanted to note one more thing. The buttons are not functional. I would have liked to have seen maybe a click function, but that's just because the Atari set that bar so high, but that came after this. But we do have this really cool plug on the controller that does snap in, but it doesn't really stay in all that well, but I guess you really want it to, because you could easily damage your Lego components by pulling it out too hard. Unlike the Atari, we have all hard buttons, nothing can be played with, but all this is printed elements, which is super cool. All the little gray around the pad. It does give you the general feel. I do feel like it is a little thicker. All negative studs on the back, but at least on the front, it looks super cool. And on display, just like that, I mean, that's pretty dope. Now, let's kind of push this aside, and let's get into the TV. Now, One cool thing is we do have the old school antenna on the TV. I love the Easter egg of the printed plaque that says low tech. And then we have the volume, the brightness, and the contrast on these TVs. I don't really remember how to adjust these TVs, but I had so many of these growing up. And I can clearly remember the day of, hey, you want to change the channel? Get up off your butt and go and do it. Which is really cool, because here we have our channel button. And it does have a stopper, so it doesn't go all the way around, which is a nice quality detail. And it's got that nice click that kind of brings it home for you. VHF, UHF, on-off switches. Really cool detail right there. Then we have the speaker grill side. I would have liked to see something maybe to cover up these studs, but in a way I kind of like how it still resembles the Lego. Now the stand does come off relatively easy, so I do like to pick it up with the stand, as you guys can see. So I guess if you want to put it on the shelf like that, you can, or if you want to, it kind of just sits in here. It's kind of hard to get it to actually mind itself. There we go. And you can have it like that. I don't know which way I'm going to have it. Just depends on my shelf space. You can pull this little plaque up right here, and I guess you guys can put a Mario, a extra Mario buildable figure on here that kind of like, I guess it does something. There's like a special color-coded 2x2 tile that's underneath. Let's see if I can get it off to show you guys. Yeah, there we go. So when you guys pull that off, you guys can see that little weird docking station right here for the Mario character. We won't be doing any of that because we don't do any of the 18 and under Mario stuff, at least not yet. There is one coming up that I might be interested in, but staying on point, we do have the little trigger right here. We'll get to that in a second. And then we have this really nicely backed TV. We obviously have our coaxial, our red and yellows match the console. It wouldn't make no sense if they didn't put that in the console. Then we have our TV vents all the way around. Who remembers tube type TVs? I mean, this thing really takes you back. I like all the little numbers and stuff. These probably all mean something, but I'm not sure what they all mean. I'm pretty sure that, 7134, obviously set number. Low-tech color TV receiver, that is really cool. And then the little antenna does have a little locking spot right in the back, and it does move really easily. Going around, it's just a basic TV, everybody, but it does have the party trick, which is the little Mario that goes through the course. We do have a printed element right there making that pipe. And we have printed elements all throughout, making the Goombas and all the little power-ups and the question blocks. This is really cool. It's all brick built. Took hundreds of pieces to actually build this. And that's the feature that resembles a lot of the Pac-Man. So that is the review on this set. This set is everything and more than I ever thought it would be. Now let's come out and let's talk about that. So that does it for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Boy, what a day and what fun I had. This is one that I'm definitely going to say Insiders Points Weekend should be live by the time this video comes out. And if you guys are looking for something to buy to get that 2 times points, this is a good suggestion, especially if you've done the Atari and you've done the Pac-Man, but you've not done this. This is, like I said, the best of both of those 2 sets, and it came out before them. There is a lot of little teeny things here and there, but for me to be able to do 2,600 pieces in one day and not get tired and take it into 2 or 3 days, it says a lot about the set. That is why I definitely recommend it. It's fun, it's engaging, and not to mention it is a hell of a display piece. And even though that they toned down the size, which at first was kind of a turn off about the set when I found out, it's okay because shelf space is premium real estate as a Lego collector. And with this being kind of toned down, that makes it perfect. We can't have a full-size Atari, a full-size Nintendo, a full-size Pac-Man, and all of that on our shelves. These things have to be toned down, and I'm glad that this one is at the end of the day. So with that one, everybody, I just want to say, you guys can now leave thanks. There's a little link right below the screen. And when you guys do that, guys leave a small donation. all of the donations goes to Lego sets, just like this. You guys can also comment on Lego sets you guys would like to see in the future. And with that one, please like, share, and subscribe. Comment your thoughts down below. What do you think about this set? And thank you for watching, and you all have a good one.